Forget everything you think you know about Abraham. For centuries, his story has been polished, idealized, flattened into a stained glass window, and his journey begins not in a land of promise, but in the heart of ancient chaos. But what if the true Abraham was far more complex? A man riddled with doubt, prone to fear, and capable of shocking mistakes. A man who, despite his profound flaws, was chosen to change the very course of human history. This is the story of Abraham, not as a perfect patriarch, but as a deeply human figure whose untold struggles and radical faith forged the foundations of 3 global religions. Our story begins around 4,000 years ago, not in some idyllic spiritual vacuum, but in the vibrant, often brutal crucible of ancient Mesopotamia, specifically the city of Ur of the Chaldeans. Imagine a thriving metropolis, a hub of trade and culture, dominated by towering ziggurats dedicated to moon gods and sun deities. This was Abraham's birthplace, then known as Abram and his family. Like almost everyone around them, worshipped a pantheon of gods. Joshua 2:42 explicitly tells us that your forefathers, Terah the father of Abraham and Nahor, lived beyond the Euphrates and worshipped other gods. This is a crucial detail often glossed over. Abram wasn't born into monotheism. He was born into a world of idols. But something shifted. What sparked the shift in his heart? Was it a growing dissatisfaction with the myriad gods, a profound intellectual realization, or a divine whisper that broke through the spiritual noise? The Bible doesn't spell out Abram's inner journey to this point, leaving a tantalizing untold gap in his earliest years. His father Terah initiated the first great migration, taking his family, including Abram, Sarai, and Lot, from Ur towards Canaan. But they stopped halfway, settling in Haran, another significant city in northern Mesopotamia. Haran too was a center for moon god worship. Was it a strategic pause, a desire for stability, or perhaps a lingering attachment to familiar pagan practices? We can only speculate, but it was here in Haran that the truly radical call came. At 75 years old, an age when most would be settling into their final years, Abram received a direct, unequivocal command from a God he was only just beginning to know. Go from your country, your people and your father's household, to the land I will show you. This wasn't a suggestion, it was a cosmic directive. And with it came an astonishing promise. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Leaving Haran meant abandoning the familiar. It meant stepping away from a lifetime of cultural and religious conditioning. Abram obeyed. He took Sarai's nephew Lot and all their possessions and people. This wasn't a solitary pilgrimage. It was a massive undertaking, a vast caravan journeying into the unknown. This act of immediate radical obedience, despite the advanced age and the immense logistical challenge, defines his early faith. But as we'll see, faith isn't a straight line. Soon after arriving in the promised land of Canaan, a severe famine struck. What does a man of faith do when the promised land offers only starvation? Abram, driven by fear, made a hasty decision that reveals a profound human flaw. He went down to Egypt, and there, fearing for his life because of Sarai's beauty, he told her to pretend she was his sister. This wasn't a casual fib. It was a calculated deception that put his wife and the entire divine promise at risk. Pharaoh took Sarai into his palace, showering Abram with gifts in return. But God intervened with plagues on Pharaoh's household, revealing the truth. Pharaoh, furious, confronted Abram and sent them away unharmed, but with the uncomfortable knowledge of Abram's deceit. Back in Canaan, their combined wealth grew so vast that it led to strife between their herdsmen. Another challenge, another moment requiring a decision. This time, Abram chose peace over possession, offering Lot first choice of the land. Lot chose the fertile plains near Sodom, a choice that would lead to his own dramatic rescue later. Despite these tests and human failings, God reaffirmed his covenant with Abram. He promised him descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore, and the entire land of Canaan as their inheritance. Abram, though old and with a barren wife, believed God. This belief in the face of impossible circumstances was credited to him as righteousness. But belief isn't always linear, and the human heart often struggles with divine timing. After years of waiting, Sarai, still childless, despaired. In an act rooted in the cultural norms of the ancient Near East, she suggested that Abram have a child with her servant Hagar. This was a legal, if imperfect, way to ensure an heir in their time. Abram agreed. From this union, Ishmael was born. While Ishmael was indeed Abram's firstborn son, this was not God's intended path. This decision led to profound strife, jealousy, and eventually the painful expulsion of Hagar and Ishmael into the wilderness. It's a stark reminder that even great faith can be derailed by impatience and human solutions to divine promises. It was after this period, when Abram was 99, that God appeared to him again, changing his name from Abram, meaning exalted father, to Abraham, father of many nations. Sarai's name was also changed to Sarah, princess. And the promise of a son through Sarah was reiterated, this time with a specific name, Isaac, meaning he laughs. Sarah, upon hearing this, laughed in disbelief. It seemed impossible, but with God as Abraham was learning, nothing is impossible. And so in their old age the miracle occurred. Isaac was born. Abraham, 100 years old, and Sarah, 90, held their child of promise. The laughter that once signified doubt now became the name of their greatest joy, a testament to God's faithfulness, even after human errors and decades of delay. This profound moment underscores a central theme: God keeps his promises often in his own perfect, sometimes painstakingly slow timing. The ultimate test, perhaps the most profound and challenging command in all of Scripture. Take your son, your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. Imagine the horror, the utter spiritual agony. Yet Abraham obeyed. The son of promise, the child through whom countless nations were to come, now demanded as a sacrifice. Abraham, the man who had struggled with fear and impatience, now faced a command that defied all logic and human understanding. Without hesitation, he set out. On the third day, as he raised the knife, an angel of the Lord intervened, stopping him. A ram was provided as a substitute. Abraham had passed the ultimate test, demonstrating a faith so profound it continues to inspire and challenge millennia later. What do you think about this pivotal moment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Abraham lived to a ripe old age, witnessing Isaac marry Rebekah and the birth of his grandsons Jacob and Esau. He buried Sarah in the cave of Machpelah, a piece of land he purchased, the only physical part of the promised land he ever truly owned during his lifetime, a tangible representation of a future inheritance. When Abraham died at 175, he was gathered to his people, buried by Isaac and Ishmael together, a testament to his enduring legacy. So what can we take from the untold full story of Abraham? He wasn't a static, perfect figure, but a dynamic, flawed human being who wrestled with God's call, made mistakes out of fear, and sometimes tried to force God's hand. Yet through it all, his fundamental belief in the one God, his willingness to step into the unknown, and his ultimate submission, despite profound internal conflict, set a spiritual precedent for billions. He became the patriarch, not just of physical nations like Israel and the Arab peoples, but the spiritual father of all who would live by faith. His story reminds us that faith isn't about flawless execution, but about persistent, often messy trust in a God who works through our imperfections. It's about leaving behind the familiar, facing the unknown, and daring to believe in promises that seem impossible. If this deep dive into Abraham's true story resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more content that unearths the hidden depths of history and spirituality, and click the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. And as Abraham's journey shows, sometimes the greatest impact comes from the most unexpected and imperfect of places.